You and I both know something deep down. Anything extraordinary, anything life changing, anything that becomes part of your identity is going to take time. But here's the truth: most people never want to hear. Time is not the enemy. Time is the tool that shapes you, strengthens you, and prepares you for the life you say you want. We live in a world that worships speed. Instant downloads, same day delivery, quick results, overnight success. But human transformation doesn't care about your impatience. Growth doesn't follow your clock. Excellence doesn't rush. It unfolds through the pressure, the repetition, the setbacks, and the daily decision to show up even when you don't feel like it. You want a stronger body, it's going to take time. You want a stronger mind, it's going to take time. You want a new career, a new mindset, a new identity, it's going to take time. But here's the beauty: time invested with purpose compounds. Every small discipline, every tiny step, every day you choose progress over comfort. It all adds up, and one day you look back and realize you're no longer the same person. You became someone you once only imagined. The problem is, most people quit during the silent seasons, those stretches where you're putting in the work and nothing seems to be happening. That's where most dreams die, not from failure but from impatience. From the belief that if it's not happening fast, it's not happening at all. Listen carefully. Time is not delaying you. Time is developing you. The challenges you face right now are not obstacles. They're training. The frustration you feel is not a sign to stop. It's a sign you're stretching. Change isn't comfortable. It's disruptive. Growth isn't loud. It's quiet. And success isn't instant. It's earned. You must learn to trust the process even when it's slow. You must honor the work even when it feels invisible. You must commit to the journey, not just the outcome, because greatness, real greatness, is forged in patience, in the discipline of showing up every day, in the willingness to endure the time it takes for your vision to match your reality. The question isn't whether it will take time. It will. The question is, are you willing to give the time that your dream deserves? Your future self is begging you not to rush, not to quit, not to expect the reward before the grind. Your future self is asking you to stay focused, stay hungry, stay committed. Because the version of you on the other side of this journey, the confident you, the powerful you, the unstoppable you, is worth every second you invest. So stop asking, how long will it take? Start telling yourself, as long as it takes. You're not behind. You're not late, you're not failing, you're becoming, and becoming takes time. Time is not the enemy, it is the tool that builds your transformation. Most people look at time as a limitation, something that holds them back, something they are racing against, but the truth is far more powerful than that. Time is the canvas on which your life is painted, the crucible where your strength, resilience, and character are forged. Every second you spend, every minute you dedicate, and every hour you commit to improvement is not wasted. It is shaping who you are and who you are becoming. Too often, we underestimate the power of time because we are obsessed with instant results, fast fixes, and quick wins. We live in a world that celebrates speed over depth, and this creates a constant pressure to rush through growth, learning, and personal development. But transformation, true transformation, doesn't work that way. It cannot be hurried, it cannot be skipped, it cannot be faked. It must be lived moment by moment, day by day, and each step in that process matters more than any shortcut you think you can take. Think about the things in life that are truly valuable, the things that leave a lasting impact. A relationship that thrives, a skill that is mastered, a body that is trained to its full potential, a mind that is disciplined and focused. None of these things happen overnight. They are cultivated through time. Each challenge you face, each failure you endure, and each moment of doubt you overcome is an essential piece of your growth. Time allows you to experiment, to make mistakes, to stumble and get back up, and to slowly but surely refine yourself into the person you are meant to become. This is why patience is not just a virtue, it is a necessity. Impatience convinces us to abandon the process, to skip the work, to search for results without doing the necessary preparation. But those who understand that time is an ally, not an adversary, are the ones who achieve the extraordinary. Time has a compounding effect. Just as money grows with interest, your effort grows with consistency. Every day that you invest in learning, practicing, or improving adds up in ways you cannot see immediately. But over months and years, the impact becomes undeniable. The small disciplines you perform consistently, the habits you nurture patiently, and the choices you make to prioritize growth over comfort, all of this is multiplied by time. It's in these quiet, seemingly insignificant moments that transformation occurs. No single day may seem monumental, but the accumulation of every day shapes the outcome of your life. This is why rushing is counterproductive, and why embracing the pace of your journey is crucial. Too often, people measure success by the speed at which it happens rather than the quality of the growth it produces. They get discouraged when progress is slow, believing that if results aren't immediate, then their effort is meaningless. This is a misunderstanding of how time works in relation to transformation. Time is the very mechanism through which depth, strength, and mastery are created. It allows you to integrate lessons fully, to understand the nuances of your craft, and to develop the resilience necessary to handle life's inevitable challenges. Every moment of effort, every sacrifice, every setback you endure while staying committed to your path is a deposit in the bank of your future self, and time is the currency that multiplies its value. Understanding this concept changes everything. When you accept that time is your tool rather than your enemy, you start to see the journey differently. You start to appreciate the process rather than obsess over the destination. You begin to focus on showing up, learning, and growing instead of comparing your progress to someone else's timeline. Time gives you the opportunity to experiment, to discover what works, to refine your approach, and to become more resilient in the face of challenges. It teaches you patience, humility, and perseverance, and it allows you to witness your own evolution. The key is not to wait passively, but to use time intentionally. Time is neutral. It will pass regardless of your actions, but what you do within that time determines who you become. Every day is a chance to learn, to grow, to push past limitations, and to invest in the person you are becoming. Those who recognize the power of time understand that setbacks are not failures, that challenges are not punishments, and that patience is not wasted. They know that time is the tool through which transformation becomes reality, and they approach each day with focus, purpose, and unwavering commitment. Growth happens in the silent seasons where results aren't visible yet. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, and yet it is one of the most important principles of transformation. Too many people expect their effort to produce immediate evidence, a sign that the work is paying off, a tangible reward they can measure, but life rarely operates that way. Growth is not always flashy. It does not always announce itself with applause or recognition, and it often happens in the background, in the shadows, in the moments when no one is watching and no one can validate your effort. These silent seasons, these periods of unseen work, are where your character is built, your strength is forged, and your potential is realized. The problem is that most people get discouraged during these silent seasons. They start to question whether the effort is worth it, whether the sacrifice is meaningful, and whether the dream is even possible. They feel invisible because the world is not giving them the feedback they want, and so they stop showing up, they stop pushing, and they abandon the process. But the truth is that growth is never visible in its early stages. You don't see a tree growing day by day. You only notice it months or years later when it towers above everything else. You don't see the muscles developing minute by minute in the gym. You only notice them after consistent training over time. You don't see the habits becoming automatic overnight. You notice them when they have transformed your life. These silent seasons are not obstacles to be avoided. They are essential to the journey. They teach you patience, persistence, and resilience. They allow you to develop the discipline to show up even when it's uncomfortable. They push you to take responsibility for your progress, to trust yourself, and to trust the process. It is in these moments when the work feels invisible that you are being tested, that your commitment is being measured, and that your future self is being prepared for the success you desire. Most people fail not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they lack the ability to endure the silent seasons. They want the reward without the work, the result without the grind, and the outcome without the process. But life does not operate that way. During these seasons, it is crucial to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing the lack of immediate results as failure, recognize it as progress in disguise. Understand that every small action, every decision to keep going, and every step forward, no matter how invisible it seems, is shaping your future. The silent seasons are where habits are formed, where skills are honed, and where resilience is strengthened. They are the periods where you learn who you really are, what you are capable of, and how much you are willing to endure for the life you want to create. The key to navigating these silent seasons is consistency. It is the daily commitment to show up, to do the work, to improve, and to invest in yourself, even when there is no immediate validation. It is the ability to trust the process when the outcome is uncertain, to keep moving forward when the path is unclear, and to believe in yourself when no one else does. Consistency during these periods builds momentum, and momentum is what eventually turns invisible effort into visible results. Every successful person has experienced silent seasons, and every one of them learned to endure, to persist, and to continue despite the lack of immediate evidence. It is also important to embrace the discomfort of these silent seasons. Growth is rarely comfortable. It is often accompanied by uncertainty, frustration, and doubt. These emotions are not signs that you are failing. They are signals that you are stretching beyond your current limits and moving into new territory. The silent seasons are not meant to be easy. They are meant to challenge you, to push you, and to transform you into someone capable of achieving extraordinary things. By leaning into the discomfort and continuing to take action, you train yourself to thrive under pressure and to persevere when circumstances are difficult. Another powerful aspect of silent seasons is that they teach humility. They remind you that results are not immediate, that effort takes time, and that life is a process rather than an instant gratification machine. They help you appreciate the journey, the learning, and the growth itself, rather than just the outcome. When you finally emerge from a silent season, when the work you have done quietly begins to bear fruit, the victory is far sweeter because it is hard, earned, authentic, and deeply rooted in your personal development. The people who succeed are not always the ones who start fastest or shine the brightest in the beginning. They are the ones who endure the silent seasons, who commit to the invisible work, and who understand that growth takes time, patience, and persistent effort. Impatience destroys more dreams than failure ever will. It is one of the most underestimated enemies of success because it disguises itself as ambition, urgency, or even passion. Impatience convinces you that if results are not immediate, then your effort is meaningless. It whispers that if progress is slow, you must be failing. It pressures you to take shortcuts, to abandon the process, and to settle for less than what you are capable of achieving. The truth is that impatience is not ambition. It is a trap that keeps you stuck in a cycle of frustration, distraction, and unfinished goals. It robs you of the chance to experience the profound growth that only comes from enduring the journey and embracing the time it takes to become extraordinary. The reason impatience is so dangerous is that transformation, whether personal, professional, or emotional, is never instant. Human growth does not operate on the schedule of convenience, and the life you desire cannot be created overnight. It is forged slowly through repetition, effort, discipline, and the willingness to continue even when the results are not visible. Impatience causes you to overlook the process, to ignore the small, consistent steps that ultimately determine success. It leads to abandoning long-term goals in favor of short-term gratification, which is why most dreams die before they are fully realized. The people who achieve remarkable success understand that the journey is non-linear, that setbacks are part of the process, and that persistence is far more important than speed. Every great achievement in history was built over time, yet impatient people look only at the final result and assume it happened effortlessly. They see the athlete at the peak of their career, the entrepreneur at the height of their success, or the artist at the top of their craft, and they fail to recognize the countless hours, failures, sacrifices, and invisible work that preceded it. Impatience makes you ignore the foundation and focus only on the outcome. And without a strong foundation, the outcome is unstable. The process, the preparation, and the time invested are where true strength and capability are developed. And impatience convinces you to skip that, leaving you unprepared for the challenges that will inevitably arise. When you are impatient, you are constantly chasing the next milestone, the next result, or the next sign of progress, and you rarely appreciate what is happening right now. You miss the lessons in struggle, the growth in repetition, and the power of consistent effort. Impatience creates a false sense of urgency that leads to poor decisions, shortcuts, and unnecessary stress. It blinds you to the fact that every small step, every effort that seems insignificant, is actually compounding into something much greater over time. It is the quiet, persistent actions repeated day after day that eventually create the breakthrough, yet impatience makes you doubt their value. The antidote to impatience is commitment and trust in the process. You must learn to embrace the timeline of growth and understand that results will come when they are meant to come, not before. You must focus on showing up consistently, doing the work, and investing in yourself with faith that your effort is not wasted. Patience is not passive. It is an active choice to persist, to endure, and to continue developing, even when the visible evidence of progress is limited. By cultivating patience, you strengthen your ability to handle setbacks, maintain your focus, and remain disciplined when distractions and doubts arise. Impatience often stems from a fear of missing out or a lack of belief in your own potential. You may feel that if you don't see immediate results, you will never succeed, or that someone else is advancing faster than you and leaving you behind. This mindset is destructive because it shifts your attention away from your own journey and onto comparisons, distractions, and imagined timelines. Success is not a race against anyone else. It is a personal journey that requires endurance, resilience, and the willingness to continue through uncertainty. Every moment of patience, every effort to trust the process, and every refusal to give up strengthens your capacity to achieve your goals and prepares you for the challenges that lie ahead. When you finally overcome impatience, you realize that the life you are building is more solid, more meaningful, and more sustainable than any shortcut could have provided. You understand that setbacks are part of growth, delays are part of the process, and challenges are part of the preparation. By rejecting impatience and embracing consistency, endurance, and faith in the process, you transform yourself into someone capable of handling success, sustaining achievement, and creating a life that reflects your true potential. Consistency turns small daily actions into massive long-term results. It is the invisible force that separates those who dream from those who achieve, the people who talk about change from those who actually create it, and the fleeting efforts from the lasting transformations. Most people underestimate the power of consistency because they are focused on grand gestures, big breakthroughs, and instant gratification. They believe that success requires sudden brilliance or a single monumental effort, but in reality, progress is built one step at a time. It is the repeated, persistent actions over weeks, months, and years that compound into extraordinary outcomes. Consistency is not glamorous, it is not exciting, and it does not create instant results, but it is unstoppable in its effect, and those who master it unlock a level of achievement that others can only imagine. Think about any skill you admire, any person you look up to, or any accomplishment that seems monumental. Behind every achievement, no matter how visible or impressive, there is a long trail of consistent effort. The athlete who dominates their sport trains every day, often in silence, doing the repetitive drills that no one notices. The entrepreneur who builds a thriving business works persistently, refining systems, improving products, and connecting with people day after day. The artist who creates breathtaking work practices relentlessly, honing their craft and pushing through moments of doubt and frustration. Consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, and yet most people overlook it because it seems too simple, too slow, or too invisible. The power of consistency lies in its compounding effect. Each small action, each repetition, and each decision to show up adds up over time. One day of effort may not make a difference, one week may feel insignificant, but as those actions accumulate, they create a momentum that cannot be stopped. It is the nature of compounding that small, daily improvements, repeated over months and years, result in extraordinary growth. This principle applies to every area of life: physical fitness, personal development, financial success, relationships, and mental strength. If you are consistent, you are unstoppable, because even in the silent moments, even when progress seems slow, your actions are shaping your future. Consistency also builds resilience. When you commit to showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, you strengthen your mental and emotional capacity to overcome challenges. Life will always present obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt, and it is the consistent person who weathers these storms with discipline and determination. Inconsistent effort leads to frustration, self-doubt, and disappointment, while consistent effort transforms challenges into opportunities for growth. Each time you honor your commitment to yourself, even when circumstances are difficult, you reinforce the belief that you are capable, dependable, and committed to your goals. This creates a foundation of confidence and self-trust that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Another critical aspect of consistency is focus. When you practice consistent action, you learn to prioritize what matters most, to eliminate distractions, and to dedicate your energy to meaningful effort. Consistency teaches patience, persistence, and the ability to resist the temptation of shortcuts or quick fixes. It trains your mind to value the process over the result, to invest in the long term over immediate gratification, and to embrace discipline as a path to freedom. Those who are consistent understand that transformation is not instantaneous, that mastery requires repetition, and that the journey itself is where growth occurs. Consistency also shapes identity. When you repeatedly perform actions aligned with your goals, you begin to see yourself differently. Your habits define your character, and through consistent action, you reinforce the identity of the person you want to become. You are no longer someone who wishes for change, but someone who takes action daily, someone who commits, someone who perseveres. This identity shift is crucial because sustainable results are not achieved through motivation alone. They are achieved through the alignment of habits, actions, and self-perception over time. By becoming consistent, you are not only achieving results, you are transforming who you are at your core. Many people give up just before the breakthrough, thinking that their effort has been wasted or that they are not making progress. But the truth is that consistent action compounds quietly and invisibly until it reaches a tipping point. Momentum builds, habits solidify, skills improve, and suddenly, the results you have been working toward appear, stronger and more powerful than you could have imagined. This is the hidden power of consistency, It takes the ordinary, the repetitive, and the small, and turns it into extraordinary results that change your life. Greatness requires committing to the journey, not just the outcome, no matter how long it takes. Too many people are obsessed with results, focused only on the finish line, and convinced that if they cannot see immediate success, they are failing. They believe that life is a series of milestones to be reached quickly. And when they encounter delays, setbacks, or struggles, they lose faith in themselves, abandon the path, or settle for less than they are capable of achieving. The reality is that greatness is not a single event, a sudden breakthrough, or a moment of perfection. It is the product of a committed journey, a series of choices, actions, and decisions made consistently over time, through both triumph and trial. Without commitment to the journey, the outcome is meaningless, fleeting, and unsustainable, because the process is where strength, skill, and character are developed. Committing to the journey requires patience, discipline, and resilience. It requires the willingness to endure setbacks, to face discomfort, and to embrace the hard work that others avoid. The journey is rarely easy, and it is often accompanied by doubt, fear, and uncertainty, but it is in these moments of challenge that true greatness is formed. Every obstacle you encounter is an opportunity to grow. Every failure is a lesson, and every small victory builds the foundation for larger triumphs. Those who focus solely on the outcome miss the most critical part of the process: the development of the person who is capable of handling success, the habits that make achievement sustainable, and the mindset that turns obstacles into opportunities. The journey is also where identity is shaped. When you commit fully to your path, you begin to see yourself differently. You no longer identify merely as someone with a dream, but as someone who takes action, who perseveres, who refuses to quit, and who aligns daily choices with long-term goals. Your habits, decisions, and consistency on the journey define the person you are becoming. This identity shift is essential because external success without internal growth is temporary, fragile, and often hollow. Greatness is not measured only by what you achieve, but by who you become while pursuing it. By committing to the journey, you cultivate resilience, patience, discipline, and a mindset that is capable of sustaining achievement, influence, and personal fulfillment. Committing to the journey also requires faith in the process. There will be times when progress seems invisible, when results are slow, and when the work feels exhausting or unappreciated. In these moments, it is easy to question whether the effort is worth it, but this is precisely when commitment is tested. You must continue, not because the path is easy, but because the process is essential. Every step, no matter how small, compounds over time, shaping your skills, mindset, and character. Trusting the journey means understanding that setbacks are not failures, delays are not denials, and struggle is not a signal to quit. Instead, they are part of the refinement process that prepares you for the magnitude of greatness that lies ahead. The journey also teaches humility. It reminds you that no one achieves extraordinary results alone or without effort. It forces you to confront your limitations, recognize areas for improvement, and embrace continuous learning. Greatness is not a destination. It is a lifelong commitment to growth, mastery, and contribution. When you focus only on the outcome, you miss these lessons, and the results are often fleeting. When you commit to the journey, however, you not only achieve success, but also develop the wisdom, resilience, and perspective that allow you to sustain it, expand it, and inspire others along the way. Another essential aspect of committing to the journey is the ability to maintain vision in the face of adversity. Challenges will arise, distractions will appear, and doubt will try to convince you to abandon your path. But those who achieve greatness are the ones who remain anchored in their purpose, who persist through the uncertainty, and who continue to take consistent action regardless of immediate reward. The journey is rarely linear. It is filled with twists, setbacks, and unexpected obstacles, but every step, every struggle, and every effort shapes the outcome more than any shortcut could ever do. Greatness is not about speed, it is about commitment. It is not about instant results. It is about enduring the process. It is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about using difficulty to build strength, character, and resilience. Every moment spent on the journey, every challenge faced, every disciplined choice, and every action taken consistently compounds over time, creating results that are both extraordinary and lasting.